Alright, YouTube, it's me, David Harry. So what I'm going to do in this video is just some testing of two microphones. It's literally just for myself, but I just thought I'd throw it out there because, you know, this particular use of these mics, or this one in particular, which is the Shure SM7B, this might be useful for other people out there. So what it is, I just haven't really used this microphone enough. And the reason why is because I just don't think it suits my voice particularly well. I do appreciate that the 7B is a good mic for certain types of voices, although it's probably a better instrument microphone for certain stuff in a recording studio, which is how I used to use one about 35 years ago. But yeah, with certain voices, I don't know if they work that well. So what I'm going to do is just kind of do this little test now to see how it works in this particular scenario. So what I'm doing here is obviously a very close mic'd setup. Now, usually I talk a lot louder than I am now, and I normally have a microphone boomed in from the side or the top or something like that. However, there are times where you just want to do like a measured like voiceover off camera. So say for instance, you might be recording dialogue for a video. Well, in that instance, you might just want to get really close to the microphone and be a little bit more controlled with the level of your voice and the delivery. So that's what I'm testing this mic for right now, just to see how this fares. Now, what I've done here, I've got like a really good gain on it at the camera. My camera's actually got a built-in XLR system and stuff like that. And of course, I'm using an inline preamplifier with this microphone. So what is it? This is the FET head. I've got a couple of them, but this is the FET head. And at the camera, it allows me to drop down to -20 on the pad and then get the final gain at the camera for a really dead nice input. So basically, I'm not over stressing or over gaining the XLR inputs and stuff like that. So like I say, this particular position right now would be good for, say, me in particular, for doing off-camera voiceover stuff. Whether that works for other people, I'm not entirely sure. But the one thing that I can't do with this microphone is basically have it at like any kind of like, you know, appreciable further distance, because for my particular voice, the EQ just seems to change, or the tonal response just seems to change a lot. Now, I'm not entirely sure how this sounds right now, but I'm going to assume that there is a certain amount of bass proximity being applied, which hopefully should help for like the closer mic'd position, because, you know, the bass proximity effect is something that you would normally like want, you know, with that close position. In fact, that's normally like one of the reasons why people go so close onto a mic, is to get that bass proximity effect. But is it too much, or is it not enough, or just basically how does it sound? So that's why I'm doing this particular test. Also, as far as the mic setup, it's completely flat on the back as well, so nothing's being added or gained or anything like that, or taken away. Now, what I'm going to do in a second is just switch over to this microphone. And the reason why is because I don't have like a really good enough reason to keep this like, you know, Shure mic. However, if in this position, if it does actually sound okay and it beats this microphone, for instance, then it's worth me keeping it for these scenarios where I want to do a close mic'd off-camera VO or something like that, or any kind of dialogue work where I'm not on camera and it's not my usual manic delivery, but something a little bit more measured like this. Anyway, so what I will do now is to just flip over onto this microphone. Okay, so as far as this microphone is concerned, what I'm going to do is to listen back to this and then compare it obviously to the 7B, and basically just get an idea for my particular voice between these two microphones in this particular position for this type of delivery, which one is going to be most suitable for my voice. Now, I appreciate, as I've already said, you know, these things can change from voice to voice or even instrument to instrument and stuff like that. But very specifically, just for this close mic, dare I say, less manically paced delivery. You know, something that I might want to do on certain videos when I'm doing how-tos or like descriptive stuff, where I just need to get a very level voiceover where I'm not being my usual manic self and stuff like that. And just work out which of these mics is best for that, for my particular voice, and you know, for this particular recording scenario. Now, this particular microphone here, this basically cost me nothing. What it is, it's the body of one mic, but it has got the capsule of a different mic inside of it. So I've already compared these two mics in the past, but not like for this type of recording. And I have to say, I did prefer this mic. So what it is, the body on this mic, I can't remember what it is now. I'll have some I'll have some stuff in the video description if it's of any use to anybody out there. But this particular body was a dynamic microphone, so obviously it was more like of a match for or against the 7B, because that's also a dynamic. But I just didn't like it. But at the same time, I had a condenser microphone by Mayono, which it's actually got a capsule which is bigger than 1 inch, so it's a really large diaphragm capsule, but that was a condenser. So what I've done, I managed to be able to fudge it in such a way where I ripped the condenser and the circuitry out of the Mayono and then stick it in this microphone, because the Mayono is basically a side address microphone. Now, I suppose when you're doing off-camera anything, you know, the address of the microphone doesn't matter, because you can get as close to it in whatever position you want to, because you're not going to be blocking things like, you know, your face when you're on camera. Whereas with an end address microphone like the way this is now, and obviously what a 7B does, you can bring them in slightly from the side, so like you're not obscuring your face. So end address mics, I think, are better for like on camera dialogue use, or whatever use on camera. Whereas side address microphones, you end up becoming like really uncomfortable with the positioning of them when you're on camera. But like I say, for this type of stuff, it doesn't matter which address type it is. However, this one was specifically done to be end address. That's the story of this mic. And basically what happened was I ended up getting the body for free, as it were, and the Mayono mic that I took the stuff out of was sent to me to do a review. So the microphone cost me nothing. Now what I'm thinking is, if this microphone works better in this position compared to the 7B, I might as well sell the 7B, because you know, I wouldn't want to use it if there's a better option. And also this particular mic that I'm on now, when I do other stuff with it, where say it's just off slightly, that it picks up better than the 7B for my voice, you know, in a like slightly further away position as well. So yeah, all I'm trying to do here is just to find something which is going to suit my voice best for this type of setup, this type of position, and this type of delivery. Now I've also got about 15 other microphones I've got to test. However, I can safely say that aside from one of the other mics, I don't think any of them, or maybe 2 or 3 of the other mics, could be used like these. But you know, most of the other mics are what you would normally put on top of cameras and stuff like that. Although I do have a few of the studio large condensers and stuff like that, so I'm gonna give them a good little like blast through as well. But just for the sake of this video, I've just put it live because it might be useful to other people out there to hear, you know, what a 7B sounds like compared to other mics. Although this is not a microphone that you can buy, but the sound of this microphone is the sound from this Mayono condenser mic, which I will have a link to, or the name of, in the video description. So this does sound just like the Mayono did, because it is the same, you know, condenser setup. Slightly different, obviously, because it's in a different type of body. But the overall tonal quality to the sound of this is what the Mayono mic was that I ripped all the guts out of. Anyway, hopefully this video might have been useful to some people out there, and hopefully it's been useful to me, because I'm now going to go and listen to it and see which mic I prefer. I'm David Harry. Thank you very much for watching this video. Take care and goodbye now.